Alright, so here we are in your model that you've given me. This is the SKP file that I've just brought into the software that I use for all of the architecture stuff. This is the SketchUp file, sorry. So, I mean, you are going to be more familiar with the textures and different layers that you've put in here than I would be, but it's pretty self-explanatory, you know. Here is the tunnel to the roundabout and other tunnel. This is just the scale model version, and I can, blow it up to a degree, scale it back down to where we can see the whole thing. And, if this wasn't good enough for you, we can just jump right in right here by the roundabout. Let's see. Yep, there it is. So now here we are where the it runs down into, I assume Lake Erie is down that way, with the change in elevation and the roundabout here. So the file is pretty large with lots of geometry and lots of surfaces upon surfaces, and so it is just ruining this software. It doesn't know how to handle it, and so that's why you'll see a lot of shakiness in the different geometry and in the UI, the user experience here of the controllers. These are where my hands are at in front of me, and I can move them side to side or whatever. Normally you'd be able to use this menu. I can't even tell what any of these icons would possibly be. But that is something that's part of the cleanup that's going to happen as as I go through some of it and start to try and clear it all up and make it a little more usable for the software. But since we are in it, I can still travel around. So here it is towards the center of the roundabout. You can see the different tunnels and how they are translating into the landscape, and also the elevation change from there to over this way, how you would see it at this point. It's very experiential from the VR perspective. We can travel down here through the highway that you guys are proposing, to see the different lanes and different changes in it. So this way it shows the different like approaches you would have, where it splits off and wraps back through and around. Okay, so we're through that area, coming through where you would come back down into the tunnel space and then out into the open. And so you can see how that would look or feel. Again, this is just more cleaning up that I would have to do. The reason it's so jumpy, like I said, the headset itself is trying to render the entire surface, the entire 3D geometry that is in the file, all at the same time twice at 90 frames per second. So it's basically trying to render everything at 180 frames. And so when you see this jumpiness and this jarbled mess of whatever the controllers are supposed to be, that is from the software trying to render so quickly that it just can't keep a consistent pace. And so no matter where I move, it's staying in the relatively same place, but if I just stand still, it doesn't know what to do, and it moves all over. So that's part of the issue that's going to come around with importing directly from these kind of softwares without any cleanup or anything. So looking over some of these balconies at I assume Lake Erie, you would see what would be really good is that you don't see what's going on in the balcony below you, unless you're looking over. With such a thick area, you're seeing right out to, I assume, a road or like a dock or whatever, and then you just see the lake. And that's definitely one of the benefits there. But if we go down here, it's you can see up and how it would all translate there, what you would see from your proposal. Now, I know this will not translate for you necessarily very well. You'll see how I'm seeing everything, but unless you were actually able to be in um, this file and in the okay, unless you were able to be inside of this experience, I don't feel that you'll really have a sufficient knowledge of what really is being experienced here. So I highly suggest trying to find someone up near Pittsburgh who can show you something like this, or finding someone, or we can talk more with Eric Blackburn and Eric Elizondo about getting me up there and figuring out the resources that we would need to um, have the technology there to showcase for you guys. I'd love to show it to you so that you can actually be a part of what it is that you're creating. I feel like that's the most important part, is having the designers and the engineers and the architects and whoever else who is a part of a project be able to experience it for themselves in order to know what is going right, what is going wrong. I mean, this is what I studied for the last 2.5 years now. So if you have more questions, let me know. I will gladly hop right on the phone with you to talk about anything you had, any questions, any concerns you had, or any suggestions you had, even of what I could do to showcase this even better for you. Please let me know, and I will gladly wait for your call.